And it's a fascinating time because a couple of years ago, and Sven and I have talked about it a lot. There was one or two spots on the podium, or maybe in a season there's one or two rounds where someone new could win. And we've far past that now. With we
Yeah.
saw with the seven different winners, and someone like Dakota, if it clicks early, then he literally becomes in the title conversation. Now, someone like Loic you mentioned, and he showed that you don't win your title on your best days, you win it on your worst days. So he managed to get those points in the rain, super frustrated in Andorra, something like that. Whereas someone like Finn, his worst days was going off the track, not getting back up, maybe getting 30 points. It was a brain fade at the time and very tough to manage when you're under race circumstances. But I think if Finn figures it out early in the season, I think he will learn from this year. So to me, not putting money on it, Finn could be one of the biggest dangers to someone like Loic if Loic comes out swinging.
Do you
Yeah, I
think
think
that having sorry, Sven, I'll ask you this question because I'm interested in your take on this.
yeah.
Do you think having someone like Loic and Finn, who could both be potentially fighting for the title, is a positive thing as teammates or a negative thing as teammates as the season goes on?
I think it's in that team. In that team, it's a positive. I think early on there was like a very clear hierarchy, and to some extent there may still be, but then that's probably driven and motivated Finn more than ever. And Loic has openly joked and said they don't. He doesn't want to be beat by Finn, but when Finn does beat him, he's equally happy for Finn. So I think in that team it works, and it also works with the Athertons. Um, but I think one of the things we got one less round this year. So, when you have an 8-9 race series, there is almost a throwaway round, like almost like a no scoring round, and then like a bad round that you have a crash or whatever. But I think with one less race, it just puts it a little bit harder on the overall. So, you know, um, it might be we might have to start looking at the more consistent riders, and that's when you do get to the the Loics and Kolb, for instance, even. Um, and maybe Benoit, he's had the speed all year long. He can become sort of more of a consistent rider instead of like chasing to get that his first win or whatever. And then we're going to have the others that are just going to take the odd win, just shoot for the wins. But it gets harder to to deliver with less races, and maybe in the women's it's easier to sort of predict that, I'd say. In a way. But then we have people like Marine that was injured, Cami that was injured, Tani that was injured, Blewett that was injured. We have them all sort of healthy and strong, so there will be some mix up there too.